Welcome to our video lesson on the order of operations and fractions. So by the end of this lesson, you should be able to solve questions like that with different types of numbers, so fractions and whole numbers, and different operations in it. Let's get started. To start, we need to talk about the order of operations and what they are. You've seen why we need the order of operations, because if we don't follow a certain order, then mathematicians solving different problems will get different answers. So we need the standardized order of operations to make sure we all get the same answer. The first thing you're going to do if you look at a problem is you're going to complete any brackets. So we'll put B here and then write brackets below. I'll put it inside brackets like that. The next one is E for exponents. I'll put a little 2 here so you can see exponents. The next two are on the same line, and I did that for a reason. It's division and multiplication. We'll talk about why they're on the same line a little bit later. But division and multiplication. And the last two are addition and subtraction. So the acronym is BEDMAS. You may have heard PEMDAS, and some mathematicians even like GMA, and we can talk about all the different ways to remember it. But this is a standard one we use in Canada. All right, here's an example without fractions where you need to use the order of operations. If we follow the order of operations, we always need to start at the very beginning. So here, we're going to start with our brackets because it's the first one up here. Now, the first important point for you to know is that inside brackets, you always follow the order of operations. Here. So inside these brackets, we have to follow the order of operations. In this question here, it's only 2 plus 3, so that's a fairly easy one for us to do. So we'll do 17 minus 5 divided by 2 plus 3, which is 5. Next, we are going to look into exponents. Do we see any exponents in this problem? I don't see any exponents, so we don't need to worry about exponents. Then we look for division or multiplication. There is division over here. So we'll do 17 minus 5 divided by 5, so it becomes 17 minus 1. Then last but not least, we do addition and subtraction. So we do 17 minus 1 is 16. Here are some important notes to know. When you have multiplication and division, this one here, on the same line, you always multiply and divide from left to right. So on here, I'm going to add an arrow at the top to show that you go from left to right. And I'll write an example of that. If you have 14 times 3 divided by 2, first, even though division seems to come before multiplication, you would just go from left to right, like reading a page. So you do 14 times 3, and then divide the answer by 2. The same goes for addition and subtraction. You always add and subtract from left to right. An example of that would be if you had 13 minus 2 plus 5 minus 4. You would complete that problem from the left, working your way to the right. The last point we talked about before is that down here, inside brackets, you always follow the order of operations. So if you had 4 plus 13 times 2 minus 1 divided by 2, you would follow the order of operations inside of our brackets here. So first we do 13 times 2, then we do 1 divided by 2, then we'd subtract them. We're going to do lots of examples to make sure you thoroughly understand this. We have 2 divided by 1/4 plus 3 times 1/2. So again, we need to follow our BEDMAS. So I'll just write it here so that we can look at it. Okay, so we're going to start looking for brackets. Are there any brackets in this question? No, so we can move on to exponents. Are there any exponents? No. So we can move on to division and multiplication. I see both division and multiplication. Here I see division, and here I see multiplication. So remember, the rule with division and multiplication is that we go from left to right. So the first thing we're going to do is the 2 divided by 1/4. So you remember that to do 2 divided by 1/4, we can rewrite that as a multiplication question with the reciprocal of 1/4, which is 4/1. We can write 2 as a fraction as 2/1. So this means 2 times 4 is 8, and 1 times 1 is 1, and 8/1 equals 8. So the first thing I'm going to do is, instead of writing 2 divided by 1/4, I'm going to write 8 plus 3 times 1/2. Now I go back to my order of operations. I'm looking for more division or multiplication. I see more right here, so then I do that next. This is 8, and I need to do 3 times 1/2. Well, I'll rewrite 3 as a fraction over 1. 3/1 times 1/2. 1 times 3 is 3, and 1 times 2 is 2. So this becomes 8 plus 3/2. So we're done division and multiplication. Last but not least, we have addition and subtraction. So we have addition in our question. So we'll have 8 plus 3/2. This is a really nice problem, because if I have a whole number plus a fraction, it's just going to end up being a mixed number of that. So my answer would be 8 3/2. But I know that 3/2 isn't a proper fraction, right? That's an improper fraction. So I need to convert that into a mixed number. So I divide 3 by 2. 2 goes into 3 once. 1 times 2 is 2. 3 minus 2 is 1. So this would give me 8 plus 1 and 1/2. Well, 8 plus 1 and 1/2 would be 9 1/2. And I have solved that problem. All right, let's do another example. In this example, again, we're going to follow our order of operations, BEDMAS, and we're going to start by looking for brackets. I do see brackets, so we're going to start there. Here are my brackets. So my next line, everything will be the same. So I'll start with 1/3, and then I'll write my times, but I need to do the operation inside my brackets first. What's 9 minus 2? 9 minus 2 is 7. So I write my 7. Minus 5/6. Everything else stays the same. I've done my brackets. Then I look for exponents. Do you see any exponents in here? No, we don't, so we don't need to worry about exponents. Then we need to look for division and multiplication. I see multiplication. I see that right here. So now I'm going to complete my multiplication. I need to do 1/3 times 7. Well, that's equal to 1/3 times 7/1, which is equal to 1 times 7 is 7, and 3 times 1 is 3. And now this is an improper fraction, so I'm going to convert it into a mixed number. 7 divided by 3. 3 goes into 7 twice. 2 times 3 is 6. 7 minus 6 is 1. And to write that, I would write that as 2 and 1/3 minus 5/6. My last step is addition and subtraction, and we do have a subtraction problem. So to do this subtraction problem, my first step is to convert my mixed number into an improper fraction. To do that, I'll multiply 2 times 3 is 6, plus 1 is 7. So this is 7/3 minus 5/6. Now to subtract, I need a common denominator. My common denominator will be 6. So I have to rewrite my 3 with a denominator of 6. And this one with a denominator of 6. How do I get from 3 to 6? Multiply by 2. So I'm going to do the same thing with the 7. 7 times 2 is 14. And 5/6 can stay the way it is. Then I need to do 14 minus 5, which is 9. So I get 9/6. And this is an improper fraction, so I need to convert it into a mixed number. How many times can 6 go into 9? Once. And 1 times 6 is 6. 9 minus 6 is 3. So this gives me 1 3/6, which we can simplify to 1 1/2. And that's how you do that problem. All right, last problem we're going to do together. Again, we're going to follow BEDMAS. The first step is brackets. I do see brackets here. In my brackets is this problem. So that's what I'm going to start with. Everything else stays the same, 2 1/4 divided by, and I need to add 1 3/4 plus 1 1/4. This is a really nice problem to add separately because 1 plus 1 plus 3 plus 1 3/4 plus 1/4 is going to work out really well. 1 plus 1 is 2. 3 plus 1 gives me 4 out of 4. And if you think about it and draw a picture in your mind, if I have 4 out of 4 possibilities, hopefully you can see I have a whole. So this would end up being 3. So this whole brackets can be rewritten as 3. Now our problem is 2 1/4 divided by 3. Well, I've done brackets, I don't have exponents, I have division left, so I need to do my division. In order to do this division problem, I need to convert this into an improper fraction. So to do that, I do 2 times 4 plus 1. 2 times 4 is 8, plus 1 is 9. 9/4 divided by 3 over 1, and I can rewrite that as multiplication. So I take the reciprocal of 3 over 1, which is 1/3. 9 times 1 is 9, and 4 times 3 is 12. So I'm left with 9/12, which can be simplified if I divide both the numerator and the denominator by 3. 9 divided by 3 gives me 3, and 12 divided by 3 gives me 4. So my answer at the end is 3/4. Those are all the examples I'm going to do. You'll have lots more practice in class. If you need help, let me know, please. I'm here to help you. And that's all for now. I'll talk to you later.